Hey, Colabcoaching yet again to share some wise words of wisdom for the week. Brand new series of 2023, brand new series. Um, as you may know, you may not know, I have been promoting my book, Fresh Eyes Solve Problems Easier to Self Love Relationship Project, for quite a while. So I was like, you know what, we got to get back to the root of it all, of how I started this whole thing, and that's talking about different topics. So for 2023, the first thing I want to talk about, and I also talked about in my book, is vulnerability. So this is the vulnerability series. So this is week one. Now, the question slash thought I have for you this week is, what does it mean to be vulnerable? What does it mean to be vulnerable? For me, being vulnerable means a lot of things. It means you being open and honest and sharing your feelings and thoughts with other people. Because I feel like as human beings, we are meant to share. We are meant to interact with each other. We're meant to gain knowledge, gain wisdom from speaking to other people about our personal issues and our successes and things of that nature, our dreams, our aspirations for the future, and then also hearing from other people. That way we learn and we grow. That is how human beings are supposed to interact, supposed to. Nowadays, it's social media, and hence that's why I do this on social media. But I think the biggest thing about vulnerability is that you have to be open and honest about sharing. Now I know what you're thinking when I say that. Okay, yeah, it's easier said than done to be open and honest about sharing with people, but there are times when people manipulate you. There are times when people lie to you. There's times when people use the things that you say about yourself and they go tell other people and they make you look like a fool or feel ashamed or feel hurt or start judging and things of that nature. I get that. But the key component of it all when you want to be vulnerable is trust. Now that's a whole nother concept. We might do a whole series on trust because that's deep. But when you are able to trust that loved one, that significant other, that friend, that family member, then you're able to be vulnerable with them. Or you're able to trust a counselor, a coach, and things of that nature, a professional. Then you're able to be vulnerable with them. But I feel like we have to put an emphasis on the idea that we have to be vulnerable. Let me tell you why. Now, especially men, especially men, this is for the men that are listening and watching. Now, we tend to keep things inside. We tend to bottle things up. We tend to not share. We tend to just be like, oh, we all good. Everything's fine. I have no problems. And that is hurtful. That's detrimental to our growth. That's detrimental to our happiness. And that's detrimental to our livelihood. Because men, to be honest with you, men, we die early because of the fact that we tend to keep stress inside. Yeah, we go work out. Yeah, we go hang out with friends. Yeah, we do this and that, the third, but we suppress these emotions and it leads to heart attacks, it leads to high blood pressure, it leads to diabetes and things of that nature. That is why men die earlier than women, because women are more willing to share. Women are more willing to learn about loving themselves. Women are not, more willing to express themselves. Now I see a shift with that with men. Now the mental health is becoming a big social norm. That's beautiful. But we still have work to do. We still have work to do. So we have to start trusting people. Not to say that you should trust everyone. You should just trust everyone as soon as you meet them. But give it time. Give it time to trust people. So that once you're able to trust people, then you're able to be vulnerable with them. Now, being vulnerable can mean a lot of things. Vulnerable can mean you talking about your day. Vulnerable can mean you expressing things from your past. Vulnerable could be you thinking about things that you want to do for the future. You need to bounce ideas with other people. Vulnerable means you having aspirations and hopes and dreams for the future that you haven't shared with anyone and you want to share. But it's all on you. You have the choice. And I want to emphasize this to the highest degree. You have the choice to be vulnerable. What vulnerability means to you is what vulnerability means to you. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to share with them. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to comply to what they're looking for or what they're forcing you to express or to release within yourself. It's your choice. And even if you are with a significant other, you still don't trust them and you still are not vulnerable with them, that is up to you. That's for you to do the work. They may ask you to be vulnerable. They may ask you to be trust them. They may ask you to do things for them. to make the relationship grow. But at the end of the day, if you're not willing to do it, then you're not willing to do it. Not to say it's good or bad, but you're not willing to do it. And that's the most important part. It's you. You are the most important part. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you need to stop watching this video and go jump to tell everybody your secrets. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that vulnerability is something that is helpful. I'll put it that way. It's helpful. It can be. It can be helpful because what you're doing is that you're releasing. You're releasing stuff. You're releasing the feelings. You're releasing the pain. You're releasing the hurt. You're releasing the enjoyment. You're releasing the peace. You're releasing the excitement. You're releasing the love. That's what vulnerability does. And if you're not vulnerable, you won't be able to receive things. Maybe someone is willing to be vulnerable with you, and you're so hard pressed. You're so stale faced. You're so wall driven. You're so closed off that you cannot receive the vulnerability that other people are giving to you for you to even be able to open up and accept that and be willing to share with that other person. You have to be accountable for what you're doing and what you're not allowing in your life, both positive and negative. So if you have a significant other and they're vulnerable, they're honest with you, they're speaking with you about their feelings and things of that nature, things of their past, and you're just like, all right, cool, and you don't share, it makes them feel hurt. I give you a big great example. For me, I was a person that people still to this day feel like that I am a great listener. I care about people. I'm affectionate, but at the same time, they want me to share more about myself. So you know what I did? I was like, I'm tired. I am tired. I'm tired of people saying that because I feel that I am open. I am an open book and I am willing to share, but people don't ask me the right questions. I mean, I answer your questions, but I just don't open up to it astounding different thought-provoking thoughts just because you don't ask the right question. So you know what I did? You know what I did? I wrote a book. I wrote a book and I literally detailed all my feelings in there. I literally detailed all my feelings in there. And that's what that book, the Fresh Eye Solve Problems Easier book, is about because it gives you a perspective of who I am. It gives you a perspective of what my thoughts are. It gives me a perspective. It gives you a perspective on who am I, how I feel about certain topics, and what I learned throughout the journey of loving myself. So you may need to write things out. I'm not saying you need to write a book because my book took 3.5 years to write and edit it. But what I am saying is that maybe you need to do a journal. Maybe you need to make a video. Maybe you need to text it out. Maybe you need to have face-to-face conversation. Or maybe you need to get help from someone who can help you break down those walls a little bit so you can be vulnerable and you be able to learn what it means to be vulnerable and who to be vulnerable with. Simple as that. So you're looking at me and you're like, well, what does vulnerability mean? Vulnerability means you being open and honest about your feelings, your past, your future, your excitements for what you have in store, and how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Now, I'm not saying be vulnerable with everyone. What I am saying is that once you trust someone, it is okay to be vulnerable because that is how we as humans learn, grow, and gain knowledge. If you're not vulnerable with someone and they are not vulnerable with you, then there's no way that you guys can both grow and gain new perspectives. That's why vulnerability is important, and that's why you should utilize being vulnerable in your day-to-day life. Simple as that. So, if you're struggling with being vulnerable and you need help with learning how to be vulnerable, message me. Facebook, Colab Coaching. Instagram, Colab Coaching. All my series are on YouTube, Colab Coaching. My website, go to my website, yourcolabcoach.com. You'll be able to sign up for a free 15-minute coaching session where we talk about anything, including vulnerability. Also, complete that relationship checklist so you can see what specific things you want to talk about. Sometimes it's easier to write it down than it is to say. So, thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. And finally, my book is out. Fresh Eyes Solve Problems Easier. The self-love relationship project. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Dorrance publishing website. Also, I had my audiobook is done. I did a whole audiobook. You can hear my voice reading the book. It's on Audible, Google, wherever you listen to audiobooks. And it's also on the audiobook company's website, Lantern Audio. Let me know. Leave a review. Tell me what you think about my audiobook and my physical book. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what I did right. Tell me if you had a life-changing experience while you're reading and listening to the book, because I'm all open for it. And with that being said, have a wonderful day and be safe out there. Bye.